Are you a Netflix fan? Chances actually are pretty high these days, especially of course among students. When I was young, I had to leave the house and walk the endless aisles of a video store to pick a movie I may not have even liked in the end. Netflix changed all of that. But I was asking myself the question, does Netflix present only great movies and series, or do they also present themselves as a good employer? Let's have a look at the presentation they share on SlideShare. What we see at the bottom here, 20 million views, so this must be a relevant presentation. And this is the title slide. The good thing about this slide is that you can see at first glance what is important to Netflix: freedom and responsibility. What is interesting is that they put the most important message on the title slide, and then if you look down here, they have 125 slides to explain that message. It would be better to use the title slide to build up some tension first and then get to this point. The yin-yang sign here is also a matter of taste. It frames the entire presentation and leads the audience in a certain direction. If this is the purpose, great. If not, I would use something else. So what could we do differently here? First, I think it doesn't hurt if Netflix is being recognizable as Netflix with a big logo on a black background. And we add a subtitle, "Are you one of us?" Or maybe better, "How we love to work." That's better. How we love to work. This leads the topic of culture without yet revealing the key message. All right, let's switch to the next slide and we look at the agenda slide. Personally, I haven't used an agenda in years. Why? Because I realize as soon as you show the agenda and go through step by step, your audience gets bored. Sometimes it may even kill your listeners. In this case here, I would just say, today I would like to show you 7 reasons why Netflix is the best company in the world and why you should definitely work for us. This would make me curious. Then I stumbled over this slide. They're using a metaphor here. We are a pro sports team, not a family. I love metaphors. They are really powerful. And in presentations, they unfold their power even more if you find a suitable picture to support this metaphor. In this case here, I would not use a classical team picture, but rather an action picture. We're talking about a pro sports team in the end. And ideally, this picture also fits the Netflix colors. I found this picture that I like a lot. And at the title, we are a high-performing team, not a family. Which makes it clear we are not here to cuddle up, but there's really something going on here. Top performance, action. Welcome to Netflix. Now, you may ask, Jürgen, I like these pictures. Where do you find them? And can I simply use them in my presentation? Let me show you. One of the sites I like to use is Pexels. They offer free stock photos here. So I search for sports team and then you look down at the results if you find something that suits your purpose. That's the one I took. Usually I would go to free download to download the high resolution version, but here to speed it up, I just copy and paste it to my presentation. Now as a title, I would make team twice the size and make it the color of Netflix. Perfect. Metaphors are great, but it's important not to use too many metaphors in your presentation and especially not to contradict each other like it's done on this slide. If you use a metaphor, it has to fit 100%. Now let's look at this slide. This is very interesting. It's basically Netflix saying, as we grow in size, we give you as employee more individual freedom, while most other companies curtail the freedom as they get bigger. And they showed this illustration here that took me a few seconds to understand, and I'm not sure if you're getting why straight away. It is such a powerful, such a great message, especially for young students, but I think we can do better in terms of clarity and comprehension. So what could we do differently here? I would simply flip the order. I would say, this is how most companies do it, and then contrast this with, this is how we do it at Netflix. And then have a chart like this, where I plot the freedom on one axis and the size of the company on the other one. And you say most companies curtail the freedom as they grow in size, not so with Netflix. We increase the freedom as we grow bigger. Wow, powerful. The last example for today is this slide, which I like a lot. It is one sentence that stands for an entire policy. Now imagine the complete deck would be like this. I assume it would be clearer, crisper, and more memorable in far less slides. And all the rest is what Reed Hastings would bring in with his personality, his authenticity, and with all these stories from his amazing journey. I'm not sure if you know, but 20 years ago, Reed Hastings wanted to sell the company for $50 million. Today, Netflix is worth more than $200 billion. Wow, what a journey. So the only thing I would change here is I would flip the sequence and change the color, and it looks like this. I would skip this comment with the 5 words and just mention it. You can count for yourself. Our policy is just 5 words long. So we improved this presentation with a few clicks, and you can apply those ideas to your own presentations. That's it for today. If you find these tips useful, just click on subscribe. And if you want help with your own presentations, send them to me and we will have a look at them. See you and bye-bye.